gotta have some mashed potatoes to go with Salisbury steak. I don't know about you, but have to in my book. So this is a recipe that's in my latest cookbook, which is the most simple, most wonderful mashed potatoes. Garlic and herb mashed potatoes sounds really fancy. 4 ingredients. It's just that easy. It's the perfect side, not only with Salisbury steak, meatloaf, anything that you're serving. So we started out with about 6 nice size, kind of medium sized russet potatoes that we peeled, cubed, and boiled. We cube them up because they're going to cook quicker that way. And you want to boil them until they're really, really tender. That's the key with doing mashed potatoes. You really got to do the old fork test, and if they're kind of falling apart when you pierce the fork, then they're going to mash up really, really nicely, and these are. So, and we also put a little salt in that water. So it takes a good 20 to 30 minutes to let those hang out and boil. And I find you always need to, you know, you got to do the mashed potatoes, you've got to mash them up while they're really warm. There is a trick to doing mashed potatoes the right way so that they don't get gluey. Have you ever tried to make mashed potatoes before and they just all of a sudden get just a gluey consistency and they're not fluffy? Well, one of the reasons for that is because they're been over mixed. So the potatoes need to be really, really tender. And then I don't like to use a mixer. I like to do it by hand. So first thing I'm going to do is start giving these a little bit of a mash without anything in them. And I'm doing them, I turned the burner off, but I'm just doing it on the burner. It's going to keep everything really nice and warm. So at first I mash them without anything, and just use a handy dandy potato masher. Now I'm going to get in here with the secret ingredient. And the secret ingredient is garlic and herb cheese. It's called Boursin. It's got everything in here: cream cheese, garlic, parsley, chives, pepper, and it just is the most amazing flavor. So we're going to use a 5-ounce container of that. Throw it right in there. It's a little bit pricey, I want to warn you. It's about $4 to $5. It's fantastic on crackers. Just, you know, it's something I keep in my fridge a lot. Just if a company comes over and throw some crackers, some other cheese and grapes out there, and you've got an instant hors d'oeuvre. It's great in stuffed mushrooms. It's great to make a cream sauce with. So it really is wonderful. But if you can't find it, which you should be able to find it at any grocery store in the specialty cheese area, you can just make your own Boursin with a little bit of cream cheese, softened butter, fresh garlic, and some fresh herbs, and whip it up. So you can see that these mashed potatoes are really lovely, and they're just going to have so much great flavor. Do a little bit of salt and pepper. That Boursin already really has some great flavor, so don't need a ton of it. And then a little bit of milk. The recipe calls for, you know, about 1/4 cup, but sometimes I'll just back off of that. Just depends on how much you need and how thick you want these potatoes. But you can see how fluffy they are. They're not getting gluey. Do just a little bit more milk. And these can be made ahead. So sometimes these are perfectly wonderful served right now. But sometimes if I'm having company over, I'll whip these together in the morning, get them in a casserole dish, and then bake them in the oven with a little bit of butter on top so that I don't have to be mashing potatoes at the last minute when, you know, company comes. So, all right. 2 different ways to serve this. We could do this, you know, on a plate or in our little homemade TV dinner here. We can get our Salisbury steak in our little container. And we've got one more slot that needs filling, so we're going to do some wonderful green beans. A little bit better than the ones that I grew up with in the TV dinner. Show you how to make those in just a little bit.